Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Welcome to our 196th episode. Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. It's always a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for listening and interacting with me on social media. That truly does make it all worthwhile. Please continue to follow me at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. And also remember that all of our episodes stream 24/7 on your home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide platform. And of course, you can always find us directly on our YouTube channel at Zen Sams. In the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, today we're going to dive into greatness, defy the norms, and embrace our unique rhythm. From the sunny pools of Arizona to the millions of screens on TikTok, we're going to feature Zeke Sanchez. He's not your typical diver, not because of his talent, which is definitely undeniable, but because he's redefining what an athlete looks like. He's going to show us that the word greatness comes in every shape and size. He's going to make a splash, and we're going to chat about his inspiring journey and how he's diving into inclusivity and breaking barriers in sports. In the Polished Beauty segment, our next guest is a powerhouse of influence and empowerment. She's an award-winning Latina activist, actress, and content creator, Barbara Sanchez. I'm going to be covering her story, what her journey looks like, with Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified OBGYN and cosmetic surgeon. In the Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift in our Expert on the Microphone series, joining us is Dr. Azza Halim, board certified anesthesiologist and leading expert in aesthetic, anti-aging, and regenerative medicine with practices in Florida, Illinois, and California. We're going to explore her unique approach with carboxytherapy. She uses needles, how it compares to CO2 Lift Pro Gel, and why exosomes are becoming the next big thing in regenerative skin treatment. In the Express BeYouTiful segment, celebrity cosmetic injector and Allergan trainer Sari Katz chats recent celebrity glow-ups. Stay tuned for Zeke Sanchez as he dives into inclusivity in the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Today in the Once Upon a Coconut Hydration with Heart segment, we're going to dive into greatness, defy the norms, and embrace our unique rhythm. At least those are the words our next guest seems to live by. At just 17 years old, Zeke Sanchez has taken the internet and the diving world by storm. From the sunny pools of Arizona to the millions of screens on TikTok, Zeke's mesmerizing spins, twists, and dives challenge what society expects from an athlete. But Zeke isn't just a diver. He's a pioneer for body positivity and inclusivity in sports. He's not your typical diver, not because of his talent, which is undeniable, but because he's redefining what an athlete looks like. Zeke is breaking barriers and proving that skill, determination, and heart far outweigh traditional expectations. He's showing the world that greatness comes in every shape and size. Today, we're making a splash as he shares his inspiring journey. Get ready to laugh, be inspired, and rethink everything you know about what it means to be an athlete. We're going to flip the script. Let's find out how Zeke Sanchez is diving into inclusivity and breaking barriers in sports. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Hey, how are you doing this morning?
So excited to have you. I am ecstatic that I stumbled across your page on Instagram. You know, there's definitely tons of good that comes out of social media, like connecting with incredible people like you, but more importantly, watching you perform. Zeke, that's pure magic. Diving is such a high skill sport, and it's incredible to see how you found your place in it while breaking stereotypes along the way. I mean, most people think of divers as lean, compact, and maybe even cookie cutter in appearance, but you've turned that assumption on its head with every single jump. Tell me, how did you first discover your passion for diving, and what drew you to the sport?
So when I was about 8 years old, my mom signed me up for like a city diving program. And not too long after that, the program was only about 2 weeks. And just shortly after that, it was over and I wanted to do more. And fortunately, I talked to one of the lifeguards and they introduced me to club. Just the little bit of fun I had in those 2 weeks inspired me to keep going. My sister, she was a competitive gymnast. And so I grew up around the gym a little bit with her. So being able to have like, not like my own sport, but like my own sport, um, that was definitely something that was super fun that kind of included the aspect of gymnastics.
It's amazing to hear how passion can grow out of unexpected places. And I love that your story shows it's not always about fitting a mold, but about creating your own path. And you did just that. Now let's talk about your viral presence. So TikTok and Instagram has become this incredible platform for amplifying voices and stories like yours. What I love about your content is that it's so authentic. You're not just showcasing your dives, but also inspiring millions to rethink what athleticism looks like. That's real influence, Zeke. So what inspired you to start sharing your dives on TikTok, and how has the response shaped your journey?
So actually, what's really funny is I've actually always shared my videos online just for family. Um, but just, I want to say in 2021, um, a judge at a competition actually posted a video of me, and within 48 hours, it had accumulated like 115 million views.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I wasn't tagged, so nobody knew it was me. But about a year later, at the same competition, my dad happened to post a video, and that's when it all took off.
The fact that you've turned something as technical as diving uh, a tool for positivity and inclusivity blows my mind. I mean, Instagram and TikTok may have started as a place for dance challenges, but creators like you are using it to redefine entire industries. It's truly mesmerizing. So diving isn't just about physical strength, right? It's a mental game. You know this more than anyone else. You're doing it in a way that's so bold and refreshing. I can't imagine the pressure you must feel sometimes, but the way you show up is inspiring to people who've never even thought of stepping foot on a diving board. What motivates you to keep pushing boundaries in a sport that hasn't traditionally embraced body diversity?
Honestly, my biggest motivation in my sport is proving others wrong. Any negativity, I use that as my fuel to keep going and to be a better athlete. And you shouldn't let somebody else define what you can do.
Yeah, your courage and perseverance are such a beacon of hope, not just for aspiring athletes, but for everyone who's ever felt like they don't belong. And what you're doing goes beyond sports. It's creating a ripple effect of empowerment. So, congratulations to you, my dear. Now, diving is such a graceful technical sport, and watching you spin, twist, and land so perfectly is mesmerizing. But I'm sure there's a lot of hard work and preparation behind the scenes that most people don't get to see. That's the part of the iceberg that's hidden underwater, right?
Right.
So what goes into preparing for a dive, both physically and mentally?
So outside of the pool, before every practice and even after practice, we do about 30 minutes of warming up where we practice all of our positions and everything like that outside of the water. Our coaches like to say what you practice outside of the water shows up on the board. So, definitely drills and like repetition is definitely um, every diver's biggest like strength, I guess, to become better.
Yeah, and it's clear that your preparation is as intentional as your dives are stunning, without a doubt. And hearing the effort behind it makes me appreciate your performances even more. So, body positivity in sports is such a critical conversation right now, and you are a trailblazer in that space. But I know it can't always be easy, right? The internet can be ruthless, and we've all seen how athletes face criticism. Yet here you are, thriving and inspiring others to rise above negativity. So, what challenges have you faced as an advocate for body positivity in sports, and how do you handle criticism?
So probably the biggest thing I face, honestly, um, well, numbers wise, anyways, is the comments on social media. Um, a lot, like you said, it's untraditional for somebody like me to be doing a sport like diving. And honestly, I've really tried to not let it affect me at all because at the end of the day, a lot of the people that are commenting, they couldn't get up there and do what I do. And they don't know the hours and years of um, practice and effort that I've done to be able to be where I'm at today. In diving, like at competitions, parents, like especially when it's travel meets, like everybody here has seen me locally, but whenever we go to a travel meet, people see me and, um, they definitely stereotype and they're like, oh, he's not going to do so great. And then they see me warm up and I might not always have the best warm up, but then it comes to the meet, that's when it counts. And so I put in my all and they see me do great. And they sometimes even come up to me after the competitions and they're like, wow, you did an amazing job. Like we weren't expecting to see that from you. And that honestly is super inspiring for me to know that um, other people are recognizing my hard work and effort.
Wow. And guys, you have to remember, he's only 17 years old. He's 17 years old. So I, as a mom, I'm hearing you tell me this. And number one, I have a certain amount of pain as I'm listening to your story, but I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. And the way you turn criticism into motivational is just incredible. It's a reminder that even in the toughest moments, we have the power to choose resilience over defeat. And you are doing that over and over again. Now, inclusivity isn't just a buzzword, right? It's a movement, and you are at the forefront of it in the diving world. I can only imagine what it would mean for young athletes everywhere to see more representation in a sport like yours. What changes would you like to see in the diving community to make it more inclusive for athletes of all body types?
I think the change that I need to see in the diving community is just more positivity in like for your athlete, no matter your size, whether you're fit or you're not. Um, Empowering your athletes is the best way to keep the sport thriving. Um, when you doubt on others, they don't want to do something, right? People can only take so much. So definitely, just that's something that I want to see is just coaches empowering their athletes, no matter what they look like, because that's honestly what has got me to where I am today, is having a great support system.
The idea of redefining what an athlete looks like is so empowering, right? And you just said it. And representation matters, and you're paving the way for a future where every kid feels like they belong. And there's a difference between fit and healthy. It seems to me that you are healthy and that you are on point and you are very focused. And as a mom, that's all I care about. Now, as much as I'd love to keep chatting, I know the pool is calling your name, Zeke. But before you go, I can't help but wonder what's next for you. I mean, you're already breaking records and barriers. What's the next big splash? Any big dreams or goals on the horizon?
Um, Probably my next goal, honestly, is to hopefully dive in college. That's my biggest goal at the moment. Um, it's always been a dream of mine to dive at the collegiate level. So I'm hoping that maybe in these next few months I find the school that's for me.
Channeling those scholarships, channeling those scholarships. We're manifesting for Zeke.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Well, it sounds like your journey is just getting started, and I can't wait to see what waves you'll make next. I mean, your dreams are just as inspiring as your dives. So, thank you so much for joining us tonight and truly, truly inspiring me and everyone else listening and watching.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Now, for more on Zeke's incredible journey, follow him on TikTok or on Instagram at Zeke, and it's 2 underscores, folks, Sanchez, Zeke __ Sanchez. And thank you to Once Upon a Coconut for fueling this conversation. Remember, with hydration and heart, anything is possible. Until next time, stay bold, stay inspired, and keep making waves. This is Zen Sams, your host right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be back right after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com. Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. Happy New Year and welcome to 2025. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. Tonight, I'm going to be joined by my brilliant contributor, Dr. Daisy Ayim, a triple board certified cosmetic surgeon and OBGYN. She's also the founder of the Polished Beauty Podcast. Today's guest is a powerhouse of influence and empowerment, award-winning Latina activist, actress, and content creator, Barbara Sanchez, all the way from the West Coast. Known for her collaborations with major studios like Sony and Paramount Pictures, and even Amazon, Barbara is using her platform to advocate for social change, inspire young creatives, and shape cultural narratives. Today's focus is influence beyond the screen, empowerment, activism, and shaping culture. We'll be talking about her journey from content creation to social activism, her work empowering underrepresented voices, and how she balances Hollywood partnerships with purpose-driven initiatives. Barbara, welcome to the show, superstar.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here with you guys today.
Okay, I'm going to kick this off. So, Barbara, the entertainment industry has seen a shift where purpose-driven influencers are no longer the exception, but they are becoming the rule, like yourself. According to a Nielsen report, 74% of consumers now prioritize brands and personalities who advocate for social causes. You've partnered with studios like Sony and Amazon, but still stayed true to your roots in activism. So what inspired you to use your platform as a content creator, not just for entertainment, but for meaningful social change?
I feel like what inspired me to do this and become a content creator and a social media influencer is basically making a difference to really make progress in matters like, Black Lives Matter, becoming an ally for important social justice like immigration, things like that are very important to me, to be the voice for others who do not have a voice. So I feel like when you become so-called the influencer, you do make a difference on advocating for others who are not as, as influential, so to speak, and you do become the voice. And I love that part.
It's powerful to see someone like you turning influence into action, and the blend of creativity and purpose is what makes your story so compelling. I know that you've pivoted from public relations back to in front of the camera to really being a brand ambassador and embracing it all. So you're doing a great job. Kudos to you. I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Daisy now.
Hey, Barbara, as someone who has been recognized by Power Magazine and Telemundo for women empowerment, which I love, and leadership, what advice do you have for someone that is striving to lead in a male-dominated field and excelling?
Oh my God, honestly, my biggest advice for people who are trying to pivot into the entertainment and content creation and acting and whatever it is that they're trying to do is just be authentic, be yourself, speak up, don't be silent. If you feel really strongly about something, please say something, I feel like we live in a world where we are afraid to say things because we are amongst like a lot of men who are very dominant in this industry. And I feel like my biggest advice is find yourself a mentor as well. Another woman who you feel is doing the work, who you feel is going to make also a difference in your life, and find the support amongst your peers, find an ally, a man that's going to really advocate for you as well. So that's my biggest advice.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love that. So you've been invited to host many events like Ben Crumb's award and the Young Artists Academy Awards, and that puts you in a lot of spaces where critical society conversations are happening. What drives you to pick such impactful roles or positions?
Ooh, that's a great question. What drives me to actually do those amazing events and award shows is to empower a younger generation of women, younger girls like, 13, 14, 12. I feel like, and it's incredible. I have an audience when it comes to those demographics. A lot of young girls are watching my Instagram, my social media, and I feel it's so empowering for me to be in this position to be able to present such a thing as an award, right? And be in front of other people who are succeeding as well, who are very, very influential and inspirational, and being in front of a camera and being able to say, hey, I came from literally nothing. Now I'm here presenting awards with all these big actors, big people. But that's besides the point. I feel the biggest point I'm doing this is to be able to say, hey, I made it. You can make it too. And for our young girls to be like, hey, you don't have to be, a big celebrity or a big, somebody big or a big person. You can only be influential. You just have to be influential and be in front of a camera and say, I'm making a difference. I'm here to stay. And I think that's powerful for our young girls to see.
That's so powerful. You're 100% right. That's a great question, Dr. Daisy. And representation matters, right? According to the UCLA Hollywood Diversity Report, while progress is happening, only about 5% of lead roles in major films are played by Latinas. What? Yet women like you are breaking barriers and paving the way. So I love it. Now, you've been featured, like Dr. Daisy said, in a lot of magazines, Forbes, Telemundo, but your work in social activism and empowerment is really what stands out. How do you envision yourself creating more opportunities for the next generation of Latina creatives?
That's a great question, Sam. I feel like I'm opening the doors, paving the way for other, minorities like myself to come into the space by being in the space, by doing the work, by being out there marching for social injustice, for things that matter to us, and I feel like that's the way that we open the door for other women to come in and say, hey, I'm able to go in the front of this matter. I'm able to do the work as well, even if it's not necessarily in front of marching or being there physically, but now social media allows us to being able to post something, right? And the next thing you know, it goes everywhere. I mean, social media is such a powerful tool. So I just feel like creating opportunities like that of me, just me being in the space is going to allow for other Latina women in general, just to come in the door and say, hey, I know Barbara. I know she went in the space. I know she opened the door for me. So I can now go and knock on the door and it'll be open.
That's exactly the kind of ripple effect the industry needs. One voice empowering another to create lasting change.
Yeah. So you've won like many Latino Business Award, and you've been celebrated for uplifting underrepresented communities. Can you share a moment with us where your activism made a difference?
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yes. I'm so excited to actually answer this question because I joined the immigration reform, social justice cause back in, I think it was 2018. And we went into marching, we went into signing petitions, we went into a lot of work behind the scenes and on the scenes. And one of the things that we accomplished was, to pass a law for a DREAM Act, right? I think it was back in 2018. I don't remember the date. Don't quote me on the date correctly, but it happened several years ago. And we all signed petitions. We all advocated for the cause. And it went into effect. And actually, a lot of people got the DREAM Act. So that was incredible to see. And we were super happy that happened. And same thing when Black Lives Matter happened, we went into the marching, we went into signing petitions, we went into prison reform, and a lot of things changed. Of course, we still have a lot of work to do, but a lot of things did change, and I'm very proud of that because our voice did matter, our voice did count, and we were just extremely happy. And just recently, how why I became this content creator and this influencer, so to speak, is because of things that matter, such as, a 14-year-old committed suicide recently in Santa Clara High School in the Bay Area. His name is was Jose Zamora, and he was teased by his teammates because he was homeless on the football team. So because of that, he ended up killing himself. And as soon as I saw that post, I was so angry. I was very, very disturbed because I'm a mother of a 14-year-old. So that really hit home for me. And as soon as I saw that post, I was like, oh my goodness, I have to share this. I have to contact my journalist friends. My celebrity friends, everybody that's influential, they have to know about this. This has to be known. This has to be heard. So I just went and posted. It started on stories. Then I posted a actual post. The next thing you know, it went everywhere. CBS was covering it, Telemundo. I mean, everybody was talking about it. And that's where I knew that becoming who I became as a content creator and a social media influencer really mattered. I was like,
That's a beautiful story. I love it that you really brought change forth, especially in a world where social media often amplifies the superficial. Content creators like you are proving that influence has so much depth, right? And that the story that you just said brings so much truth to that. If you go back to the statistics, there's a Sprout Social study. It showed that about 71% of consumers are more likely to trust influencers who share causes that they care about. So again, on the right track for connecting with your audience. How do you strike a balance between creating entertaining content for partnerships with studios or brands and still keep your social activism front and center?
that's a great question. I feel like the main thing that I do is prioritizing my time, self-care. Mental health is a big one. I have to go through therapy and through my support system with friends and people in the space that are very willing to talk to me and give me that mental support that I need. Because as a mother, as an actress, as a content creator, as all these things that we do, we definitely need to find that balance, to find the strength to keep going. Every single day is a battle. It's a battle to keep going. I mean, just from starting in the morning to dropping off your kids to putting on makeup to reading scripts to content creation. I mean, everything is such a big, you know, draining. Like it's draining, you're
It's
mental.
very draining. It's very draining.
It's drained a lot. So I feel like balancing and prioritizing your time is the most important thing.
You're right. Time management is of the utmost importance. And before I go back to Dr. Daisy, she has some more questions, but I want to talk about storytelling because storytelling is at the heart of what you do, whether it's through acting, content creation, or advocacy. So you're set to play a therapist in an upcoming indie film called Final Desire. How does this role align with your personal mission to share stories that matter?
Oh, Lord, it aligns perfectly. I'll tell you that because I go crazy every single day trying to find the balance like we just talked about on how to manage everything. And so I feel like a lot of my friends are actually therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. So I feel like it's perfect for me to portray this role, since I have a lot of good friends that can actually guide me through it and be like, hey, listen, this is what this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to play this role. And I'm deeply excited, and it aligns perfectly with my brand, because I always been a big advocate for mental health and prioritizing your self-care and being aware and speaking up about, suicide prevention and domestic violence and all those heavy topics that a lot of people are uncomfortable to still talk about till this day.
Yeah. I mean, you've done so much. When I was reading about you, I see that you sponsor or you speak up for farmer workers. They need a voice. You sponsor single family mothers, and families. You're doing amazing work, So when I look at your overall tapestry, I'm like, she's the woman that I want on this podcast. So the podcast theme is Where Ambition Meets Empowerment. And I see so many things that are so ambitious and empowerment about you. But what is the one bold thing or bold step that has led you to be where you are at this moment?
I feel like it was my own personal experience as encountering domestic violence myself that led me to this moment of being okay, enough is enough. I cannot be a victim, but rather a survivor. And I feel like that empowered me to be in a position where I wanted other women and other people to feel, because this happens to men as well. So I feel like both need to be empowered to speak up and say, I don't deserve to be treated like this. There's a bigger picture for me. There's a bigger purpose in life. And I just don't deserve this. I deserve bigger and better. So I think that was the biggest part of my life where I realized, Barbara, you have a bigger purpose. You're here for a big reason. I don't know. I didn't know at that time what it was, but now I know.
You definitely are. I mean, just the fact that you mentioned that you learned English on your own, I was like, wow, you know,
Yeah, that was
so
tough.
yeah. I mean, but you did it, and you're such a starlight in so many lives and people's vision of what life can be like in America as an immigrant. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Well, we are officially at the end of our date, my friends. Barbara, it's been such a pleasure having you with us today. Your work truly, truly reflects what it means to use influence for impact, and that's inspiring. Dr. Daisy, thank you so much for always being a great wingman and quarterback co-host there.
Absolutely. Barbara, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, ladies. This was amazing.
For those wanting to follow Barbara's journey, you can find her on the gram at Barbara Sanchez PR, and stay tuned for her upcoming film, Final Desire, where she continues to merge storytelling with purpose. And of course, Dr. Daisy Ayim, always a pleasure to have her on, contributing with her incredible insight, expert on the microphone, on the Polished Beauty segment. I'm your host, Zen Sams, right here for 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. Definitely head to drdaisyayim.com and check her out on the gram at Dr. Daisy Ayim. And to learn more and to keep up with the Polished Beauty Podcast, head to thepolishedbeautypodcast.com or check them out on the gram at the Polished Beauty Podcast. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this. A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Ayim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Ayim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift in our Expert on the Microphone series, joining us is Dr. Azza Halim. She's a board-certified anesthesiologist and leading expert in aesthetic, anti-aging, and regenerative medicine with practices in Florida, Illinois, and California. She's the founder of Azza MD Beauty. Now, Dr. Halim is widely recognized for her innovative, holistic approaches, combining facial rejuvenation techniques with cutting-edge solutions like carbon dioxide therapy and exosomes. Her expertise has earned her features in Vogue, Glamour, and Oprah Daily, and she's also presented at top global conferences. Today, we're going to dive into the transformative world of carbon dioxide. We're going to focus on CO2 therapy for skin rejuvenation, a technique revolutionizing aesthetic medicine that's been around since the 1930s. Specifically, we're going to explore Dr. Halim's unique approach with carboxy therapy using needles, how it compares to the CO2 Lift Pro Gel, and why exosomes are becoming the next big thing in regenerative medicine and skin treatments. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So excited to chat about my favorite topic, skincare, especially right around the new year. So important to set the tone. But let's go back to the basics of carboxytherapy. So Dr. Halim, carboxytherapy or carbon dioxide therapy has been gaining traction for its skin rejuvenating effects. Can you explain how the process works and why it's so effective for improving skin elasticity and reducing wrinkles versus other modalities?
So one of the things is, and I actually did trademark carboxytherapy treatments using needles, as you had just said. And carboxytherapy, also as you mentioned, started in the 1930s in France in all the French spas. What we do is we use the needles in order to actually deliver medical grade carbon dioxide. And what that does is it actually increases blood flow circulation to the areas that is being delivered to, which allows more micronutrients to come to that area. This is the reason we're able to actually treat various indications such as hyperpigmentation, dark circles, skin laxity, because when you do all of that, it also tightens the skin, helps thicken the skin by process of neocollagenesis, which is also collagen building, something that is a protein that our skin and body needs, which declines as we age, which is also why it's a fantastic treatment that with the CO2 lift gel and the CO2 carboxy on the device, I'm able to integrate and combine both for maximum optimal results.
It's so fascinating. So essentially, the increased oxygenation stimulates collagen production, which is a cornerstone for youthful, healthy skin. And it's incredible how this method taps into the body's natural repair mechanisms, which is why I love it so much. When you look at the research from the Journal of Dermatological Treatment, it shows that carboxytherapy significantly improved skin tone and elasticity with measurable results in as little as 4 to 6 sessions. So you're definitely onto something. Now let's talk about comparing carboxytherapy with the CO2 Lift Pro gel. So you're known for injecting carboxytherapy with microneedles into the skin, which is a more invasive approach. But how does this compare to the CO2 Lift Pro gel, which is a non-invasive option that also uses carbon dioxide to rejuvenate the skin? I mean, are there specific benefits to each method?
Yes, and that's a fantastic point to bring up and to compare. So the invasive approach, which is the carboxytherapy, is a device. You have to have the procedure done in office. And on the device that I use, I'm able to deliver the CO2 for two different options. One is to increase blood flow neocollagenesis, and the other one is actually apoptosis, that if I want to break down fat deposits, I want to do cold lipolysis, which is actually freezing the fat cells, which by the body then eliminates. Now, with the carboxy gel, you're able to do that in office as well as at home because it is non-invasive. It has a transdermal absorption, which is unique mechanism in order to be able to increase permeability of other products that are being applied, whether at home or to also prime the skin in advance of preparing and doing other treatments in office. So the carboxy gel goes hand in hand with the extra carboxy therapy. And as I mentioned, my trademarks were, and I created them several years ago with the carboxy therapy device, was in conjunction to treat everything from dark circles under the eyes to skin laxity to actually cellulite, which is a big thing as well.
That makes total sense. I mean, it's logical, right? The gel offers an easy at-home solution for maintenance, while the needle-based therapy provides deeper, more targeted results. It's can't get easier than that. And it's a great example of combining innovation with patient accessibility, which is the hardest thing. In fact, when you look at the studies from plastic and aesthetic research, they show that combining non-invasive treatments with in-office procedures actually enhances outcomes significantly, what they call these combo therapies. So I love what you're doing. Now, you're a big proponent of pairing the CO2 lift therapy with exosomes. So for those unfamiliar, and you can get into it a little bit deeper, but exosomes, to my understanding, are tiny cellular messengers that play a critical role in tissue repair and regeneration. So how does this combination elevate results? I mean, what makes exosomes such a game changer in aesthetics?
So exosomes has actually been something that has been researched and is actually used worldwide in different avenues. Here in the US, of course, we're waiting for the full FDA approval. And also for transparency, I am the Chief Medical Officer for Chimera Labs, which is also very innovative in as far as the exosome world and research. And right now, exosomes in the United States are used only as topical. Now, when you're using a product like the CO2 Lift in order to increase permeability for any kind of serums or products, and then you apply apply the exosomes, then you're getting that double combination benefit of skin rejuvenation. And why is that? Exosomes are cell-to-cell carriers and they deliver cargo. And what they are, depending on the type of the exosomes that you have, they can deliver all kinds of growth factors. And I know people have always used and providers have used PRP or PRF or PRF gel. Now, those also have different growth factors and they come from yourself, which are autologous. The beauty of exosomes, there are no living cells in them. So we don't have to worry about any kind of immunogenicity. We don't have to worry about any kind of testing other than making sure that the sourcing and the sterility of the product. Now, what they do is actually help skin and tissue regeneration, the rejuvenation, and they actually do help with the thickness, skin elasticity, and the overall as far as even treatments of things like, and I'm not going to say treatment because we do not want to ever use exosomes or any product as a diagnostic or treatment, whether it's the CO2, the carboxytherapy, or the gel, or the exosomes. So just for clarification purposes, nothing is used as a treatment. When we say that, we mean procedure. So at the end of the day, the exosomes are applied topically, just like you would with a serum, and you would also use in combination with the CO2 lift, which allows the enhanced results of both products.
Wow, exosomes truly seem to be the next frontier in aesthetic medicine. I mean, it's crazy to see that the skin's ability to heal and regenerate has an easier path with these exosomes. I mean, I love it that it's the next trend, if you will. And according to
We
these,
can't wait until hopefully it gets FDA approved eventually, but that's going to take years of research and trials. And as long as everyone is also abiding by the rules and regulations, and that's what we all have to stick to.
yeah, without a doubt, because there's a lot of buzzwords and there's a lot of misinformation out there. But there was a study published in Stem Cells Translational Medicine, it was, and exosomes were specifically deemed, and this was 10 years ago, to accelerate wound healing and improve skin texture within weeks. So I love the advancements, but like you said, FDA, big barrier. We got to get through things one step at a time before we make them widely accessible. So let's talk about hyperpigmentation and scarring. So hyperpigmentation and acne scarring are two major concerns for many people. So how does your approach with carboxytherapy and CO2 lift address these issues? Are there particular patient success stories that stand out, perhaps?
Yes. So in the past, everyone has always used everything from microneedling with RF, without RF, subcision for acne scars. Just to dive into that one first, is because in order to, when we do subcision, we're breaking up the fibrosis and the scars. So for me, what I decided to do, and I tested on several of my patients and they got fantastic results because of the fact that when you are delivering the CO2, the gas itself is also breaking up and subsiding through the delivery of the needles, the actual fibrosis and the scar tissue, which is also why I was able to implement it in order to create my combination therapy for cellulite. Because we know that also cellulite, you have tethering of bands, and those tethering of the bands are what create those actual lobules to bulge and create that appearance of cellulite. So acne scars, depending on the type of scarring, how deep they are, the first thing you want to do is break up the scar tissue. The next thing you want to do is be able to replace that lost collagen or depression in the scar. And you also then have to tackle the actual pigmentation that comes with the scar. So this is the reason it is a multi-step process. So one, breaking up the scar tissue with carboxytherapy on the device and increasing blood flow circulation to the area. Also combining and adding the carboxy gel to use it for home care, because we know that treating acne scars or any kind of skin issue, it is a journey. And when I tell my patients that, it means that they're going to be coming in for X amount of treatments every so often. They're also going to need to follow and comply with the home care. And that's where the combination of home care versus in office is really the best bang for your buck, as well as for results optimization.
It's inspiring to hear such personalized care in action. And you're right. I mean, acne scars and hyperpigmentation can be notoriously difficult to treat. Okay, so let's talk about carboxytherapy versus other skin rejuvenation treatments. So there's so many treatments out there for skin rejuvenation, laser, microneedling, you mentioned PRP. In your opinion, how does carboxytherapy compare to these more traditional approaches?
So carboxytherapy, as I mentioned, how it compares, I find that microneedling, you're delivering energy to the area in order to hopefully thicken the dermal layers and the epidermal layers. As far as pigmentation, does it remove that or not? That's sometimes yes, sometimes no. It is not always guaranteed. And obviously, I have all those devices and mechanisms in all my practices, which is great, along with laser resurfacing, because this is the reason too, from a dermatological standpoint, the whole concept of using retin A or retinols is to be able to increase cell turnover. Now, one of the good things about when you're doing carboxytherapy and you're doing the carboxy gel is that you are increasing the cell turnover invasively and minimally invasive and non-invasive, as well as the fact that you are going to increase that circulatory need of micronutrient delivery to the skin. And this is the reason too, I always tell everyone, your home skincare is going to be very important. You cannot just rely on a one treatment in the office, go home, and then not do your morning and night regimen. So I am very, very big on home skincare and treatments. And this is why carboxy gel, I find, is actually innovative and I love, because patients are able to maintain, and they could do it every day. They could do it every couple of days, once a week, whatever is going to fit their lifestyle. So this is the reason I'm able to address the scarring, pigmentation, pores, anything with texture, fine lines, and even luminosity of the skin.
That's such an important perspective. And it seems like carboxytherapy really does stand out for its ability to treat a wide range of issues without significant downtime, which is a huge, huge advantage for patients with busy lifestyles. I know it's the biggest determining factor for me when I'm evaluating a treatment or a procedure. So your approach is very holistic, which I love, focusing on lifestyle and nutrition and just overall wellness. How important are these factors when it comes to achieving lasting results with these skin treatments?
So I am a very big proponent and supporter of beauty from inside out. And that has been always my mantra to my patients, just because of the fact that you can work on the outside, but if you're not healthy on the inside, then what happens is that shows. Our skin is actually the largest organ of our body, and that reflects our internal health. So when we are healthy with our micronutrients, our gut microbiome, and this is something that I always emphasize, your gut microbiome is related to your skin microbiome, as well as the skin, gut, and brain axis. So if we don't have a healthy mind, we don't have a healthy body, we don't have the proper microbiome internally and externally, your skin will look dull and dry, and it will also age prematurely. Diet, nutrition, exercise, and just daily lifestyle of yoga, meditation, and de-stressing, disconnecting. And I know it's easier said than done, but we all have to find the time, because at the end of the day, glowing skin doesn't come from just doing a bunch of laser treatments. As we know, and we've seen it time and time again, I can do all the laser treatments in my office and I have the most advanced technologies. If patients are not compliant internally, externally, their skin is still going to not see much improvement, or it's going to look even worse than they started. So this is something that is, I say, a collaborative journey between myself and my patients. And it's very important in order to be able to combine the two.
Absolutely. It's all interconnected. And what you're describing aligns with findings in the Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology, which emphasize that combining lifestyle changes with treatments extend and enhance results without a doubt. So, again, spot on. Finally, Dr. Halim, what's next on the horizon for skin rejuvenation? Are there any emerging technologies or innovations you're particularly excited about? I know we spoke about exosomes, but what else is at the forefront?
I think one of the big trends, and that's something that's going to be amazing and that I'm already involved with, is AI wellness. And with the artificial intelligence when it comes to skin analysis, skin assessment, creating customized individual treatment plans, treatment products, as well as products that are already in the makings as far as the transdermal absorption path, in order to be able to actually deliver the products to the skin, into the skin, as opposed to just sitting on the epidermal surface layer. Because don't forget, we need to make sure whatever products we're using, they're being absorbed. If they're not going between your dermal and epidermal layers, then they're just sitting on the surface of the skin. So that's not going to do any benefit for anyone. The other thing is going to be something that they call 3D printing, which is the bio actual creation of skin tissue, regeneration, similar to the concept of possibly grafting, but they're also working on that as well. And I think that is actually fantastic in the tech world, in the actual, biotechnology world. So I think those are things that are going to be very big in the the future as we see them. Because as you just mentioned, stem cells and exosomes, they're getting a lot of hot press. They are a lot of buzzwords. They're still in development. I know that internationally, people are using them for different indications and different pathways of delivery. We're not there yet here in the US, but also as far as AI, that's booming quite a bit.
It's so thrilling to hear about what's coming next. And I know artificial intelligence, there's a lot of technophobes out there, but I think it's really going to take the medical perspective to the next heightened level where you just said it. It's all about personalized solutions and clearly moving toward more regenerative and personalized solutions at the same time, not one without the other, right? Well, we are officially out of time. What an enlightening interview. I learned so much. I love talking to my experts, and you are surely one of them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now, for more information about Dr. Halim's practice and cutting edge treatments, you can visit AzzaMDBeauty.com, or you could follow her on Instagram at AzzaMDBeauty. Now, this segment of Expert on the Microphone was the Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, the leader in non-invasive skin rejuvenation. Stay tuned for more on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxytherapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase in luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Disconnected Kids, Reconnected Families is a documentary-style reality series providing an in-home look at families who have children in need of intervention for conditions ranging from behavioral issues and oppositional defiance to autism and ADHD. Watch as Dr. Robert Milillo and his wife Carolyn go into the home and get real with the families. Using decades of experience, they help families not only face the issues head-on, but also overcome their challenges and reconnect as a family. Exclusively on Your Home TV network.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Hi, I'm Sari Katz with this week's Express Beauty segment for A Moment of Zen. Have you seen these celebrity glow-ups? I'm talking Lindsay Lohan, Christina Aguilera, Demi Moore. I mean, these ladies look incredible, but yet so natural. So what have they had done? Well, if you survey a bunch of us medical professionals in the cosmetic industry, you'll get a whole host of different answers. Everything from surgical to non-surgical to just even some skincare. Well, what is the one thing we all agree on? Well, it's not just one approach that helps fight the anti-aging process. It's a multiple modality approach that works best. So let's break it down. What could you do to fight the aging process? Well, at the skin level, you can get certain procedures that help with tone and texture, like an IPL for sunspots, or Fraxel for the skin texture, or microneedling. Beneath the surface, we could do some more, slightly more strong procedures like Morpheus, which is radiofrequency microneedling, or ultrasound therapy called ultherapy, which helps to tighten the tissues. Structurally, when you're looking at some of these changes, we'll see changes in the jawline or the lower face or the brow lifting up. I mean, that could even be a surgical approach, right? I'm talking an endoscopic brow lift or a lower facelift and neck lift, or even trimming of the eyelids, which is what we call blepharoplasty. But beyond these invasive procedures, we can still go back to some non-invasive approaches, including dissolving out old horrible fillers and replacing them with strategically placed fillers and Botox. And then, of course, adding some great skincare to prevent against sun damage, to add brightening to the skin like vitamin C, retinols to help with wrinkles. I mean, these are things you can do at home. And then on top of that, of course, is important lifestyle changes like avoiding too much sun exposure, staying away from drugs and alcohol, and also just eating a healthy diet and being nutritiously forward. I mean, these are things that we all can do at the home, and then also visit our provider to help with us in office. And then, of course, you'll all agree that a lot of celebrities out there have even tried Ozempic or some of these weight loss approaches that have helped thin their facial frame and change their fat pad distribution in their face. So we're talking about different layers, different approaches, and the best outcome is obviously going to be a mixture of all of them. So know before you go, and that's my advice to you for this week's beauty segment on A Moment of Zen. I'm Sari Katz, and have a great day.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
In business and in life, there's always an upside. Finding it is often the challenge. Having a mindset that looks for it and embraces problems as opportunities is the key to thriving. Finding the Upside with Maria de Lorenzis Reyes explores the transformative power of optimism, featuring visionary business owners, influential leaders, and inspiring everyday people. Tune in and see how they navigate changing conditions with optimism and innovation. Watch the special series One Tough Chick, highlighting resilient and powerful women, streaming on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
We are at the end of our date, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Remember to continue to listen in on 710 WR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen are available on Your Home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide streaming platform. You could head directly to mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it.